Something's off. You feel it, right in your chest, like a knot you can't untangle. She doesn't look at you the way she used to, does she? Her eyes used to light up when you walked in the room. Now, they barely move. She used to lean in, laugh hard, touch your arm, ask how your day was. Now, it's like you're just there, present, but invisible. You send a message. She takes hours to answer, or doesn't. You say something sweet. She shrugs it off. You give more, try harder, show her how much you care. And what do you get back? Nothing. Just silence. Cold silence. You sit there, staring at your phone, wondering, what did I do wrong? And the world will tell you this. Chase her. Prove yourself. Show her how much you love her. Don't let her go. But I'm here to tell you something very, very different. And once you hear it, you'll never unhear it. Ready? She didn't turn cold because you didn't try hard enough. She turned cold because she never had to try for you. Boom. Let that hit. When you give too much too soon, when you're always there, always reaching out, always showing up, you erase the space where her desire is supposed to grow. You didn't scare her away. You smothered the mystery. You see, women don't fall in love with comfort. They fall in love with curiosity, with wondering, where is he? With feeling, why isn't he chasing me like before? With asking, did I lose him? And when you take a step back, not to play a game, not to be cold, but to return to your life, your focus, your world, that's when her mind starts spinning. And this is the first step in the two-step mind hack. Step away without a warning, not in anger, not to make her jealous, not to punish her, but to return to you, to your center, your goals, your purpose, to remind her and yourself that you were never here to beg. You're a man, not a puppy. You don't chase what doesn't want to be caught. So when she feels your absence, when she realizes the attention stopped flowing, the calls slowed down, the energy shifted, her heart will notice. Her brain will try to solve it, and suddenly, you're not invisible anymore. You're interesting. You're rare. But here's the secret. You're not doing it to make her feel bad. You're doing it because you finally realized something huge. You were giving your everything to someone who gave you crumbs. And when a man finally understands his value, when he chooses himself, when he no longer waits for approval or permission, that's when everything changes, because she might have lost feelings. But you just found your power. And the moment you walk away, without warning, without begging, without drama, you shift from easy access to high value. And women chase value. So if you've been feeling lost, stuck, frozen in fear because she's pulling away, let go. Not to punish her, but to protect yourself, your peace, your purpose, your power. And that is the start of the two-step mind hack. You don't argue. You don't explain. You don't try to fix it. You just vanish into your own life. And from that silence comes the spark. Her curiosity, her confusion, her craving to feel what she lost. And don't worry, I'm not done yet. The second step she'll never see coming. Now that you've stepped away, something strange starts to happen. She's not saying anything, but she's watching. She's checking your profile. She's reading your old texts again. She's wondering why everything feels different, colder, emptier. But you're not chasing. You're not explaining. You're moving. And this, right here, is where step 2 begins. It's time for the second part of the mind hack that flips her world upside down. Ready? Step 2. Stay silent and let your actions speak. I'm not talking about some fake glow-up or pretending to be happy. I mean real action, real motion, real change. You go to the gym, not for a photo, but for your strength. You start learning a new skill, not to brag, but to build. You show up in your own life with energy, purpose, and focus, not to prove anything to her, but to prove everything to yourself. This is when she feels something she didn't expect. A slow burn of regret, not because you said the perfect words, not because you begged her to notice you, but because she sees something she didn't before. A man who didn't need her to become powerful. You see, most men mess up right here. They break the silence too soon. They reach out when they feel the silence instead of owning it. They rush back in just when her interest was starting to grow. Don't do it. The longer you stay focused on you, the deeper the shift inside her becomes. She starts wondering, was I wrong about him? She remembers the little things, your laugh, your scent, the way you made her feel safe. And now those things are gone, not hidden, not paused. Gone, and it stings, because silence, when it comes from strength, not from sulking, is powerful. It's not just absence, it's presence in a new form. She starts asking, why hasn't he reached out? Is he with someone else? Did I lose him for good? And that's when it clicks. Your silence, your distance, your focus. They're not punishments. They're proof. Proof that your life matters, with or without her. That's when cold women turn warm again. Not because they were tricked, but because you stopped being predictable. You stopped giving, and instead you became. You became the man she never thought she could lose. And here's the truth. Women don't chase men who chase them. They chase men they can't quite figure out. Men who are calm. Men who are present but never desperate. Men who walk away without fire and return without fear. So remember this. Step 1 was the space. Step 2 is the silence, filled with motion, action, growth, strength. And if you can do both, without flinching, you'll never need to chase again, because from now on, she'll feel it. That slow panic, that quiet ache, that burning thought in her mind. What if he never comes back? And guess what? Whether you do or not, that decision will finally be yours. The secret room in her mind. You must unlock. Okay, lean in close for this one. Because what I'm about to tell you, most guys never figure out. It's not in dating books, not in pickup lines, and definitely not in those cringy how to text her back videos. It's this. There's a secret room in her mind, and only certain men are allowed inside. But here's the twist. It's not the nicest guy. It's not the richest guy. And it's not the guy who does everything for her. It's the man she can't quite understand. Yes, the mystery, the space, the quiet power. See, here's what most men do when she starts acting cold. They panic. They chase. They ask, "Did I do something wrong?" They give, hoping to win her back. But when you do that, she doesn't feel closer. She feels bored. Why? Because there's no challenge, there's no fire, there's no mystery. And without mystery, there's no magnet. Let me break it down even simpler. Have you ever lost something valuable? Your phone, your wallet, your keys. Remember that sinking feeling in your stomach? That worry? That anxiety? That mental obsession of, where is it? That's what you trigger in her. When you vanish without drama and rebuild without noise, suddenly you become the valuable thing she feels like she lost. Not because you were mean, not because you were fake, but because you were scarce. And now you're not easy to find. That's how you unlock that secret room. You don't knock. You don't beg to be let in. You become the man who haunts her thoughts because she doesn't know where she stands with you anymore. And guess what? That uncertainty is magnetic. But here's the key part you must understand. You don't do this for her. You do this for you. You create that mystery because you're finally putting your energy where it belongs, on your own life. You go quiet not out of punishment, but out of peace. You walk away not to make her chase, but to free yourself. And in doing so, you become the man who doesn't need to be in her mind, because you've mastered your own. Now listen, this isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being hard to forget. And the only way that happens is when you stop trying to be chosen and start choosing yourself. The truth is, women want to feel something real. And when your presence becomes calm, sharp, rare, that secret room in her mind opens wide. And guess who she can't stop thinking about? You. The one who stopped dancing for her attention. The one who became a storm of quiet power. The one who was there and now is gone, without warning. And in that silence, she asks herself the question that changes everything. Why am I thinking about him so much? Let that echo in her mind. Build a life so full, she has to ask if there's room for her. What if I told you the best way to make her want you again is to stop trying to get her back? Yeah, that sounds crazy at first, but stay with me. Because here's what cold women don't expect. They don't expect you to disappear into something better. Not into silence, not into games, but into a life so rich, so full, so powerful, that she starts to feel like the one left behind. This is step 2 of the 2-step mind hack. Step 1, you already know, silence. Step 2, rebuild in silence. But not just any life. Not a fake life just to post for attention. Not some rented version of success to show off online. No, I'm talking about a real life. A life with meaning, with passion, with purpose. Because here's what happens. She's used to men breaking down when she pulls away. She's used to emotional explosions, begging, texting, calling. Please just talk to me. But you go silent and upgrade. You're building something. Maybe it's your body, your business, your purpose, your mental strength, your spiritual peace. And guess what happens? She feels it. She senses it. Even without you saying a word. Why? Because the man who is deeply rooted in himself, the man who doesn't make her his center, the man who doesn't orbit her mood swings, he's the one she wants to chase. Because women don't want to be your purpose. They want to be part of your purpose. And most men mess this up. They make the girl their world, and then cry when that world disappears. But real men, stoic men, they already have a world. They already have direction. They already have a reason to wake up, with or without her. That's the difference. She starts to look at your life from the outside, and suddenly she starts wondering, is there still a spot for me? Does he even miss me? Why does it feel like I'm the one being left behind now? This isn't punishment. This is transformation. This is the moment when you stop being her option and become her obsession. Not because you forced her hand, not because you manipulated her emotions, but because you became a man of gravity. A man who doesn't wait. A man who builds quietly. A man who never needs to announce his value, because his life shows it. And suddenly, the one who walked away without begging, he becomes the one she's now searching for, not with her feet, but with her mind. You've planted a seed in her, and now, as your world grows, she feels like she's shrinking in it. That's what space does. That's what purpose does. That's what real detached growth does. The calm man wins. Why she can't resist your emotional peace. Have you ever seen a man lose it? Yelling, pacing, throwing his phone across the room, just because a girl didn't text back. Yeah, that's what most guys do. They feel a little distance from her, and boom, the panic hits. And when they panic, they push, they chase, they explode, they break their own dignity, all because of one thing. They can't handle silence. But guess what? Silence isn't the enemy. Silence is where you become powerful. Let me explain something crazy, but true. The calmest man in the room, he's usually the one who holds all the power. You see, when a woman pulls away, she's not just watching your words. She's watching your energy, your emotions, your reaction. And when you stay calm, fully calm, while she acts distant, it messes with her mind in ways you can't imagine. She starts to think, wait, why isn't he chasing me? Why isn't he freaking out? Does he even care? Did I lose him? That calmness, that's not weakness. That's strength. That's the kind of power she's not used to. Because most men, they break down. But a stoic man, a man who knows his worth, he never lets a cold shoulder burn his self-respect. He sits still. He breathes deep. He observes, not reacts. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he's mastered what he feels. Let's be real. You're going to feel things. Frustration, pain, confusion. But emotional mastery doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you respond from wisdom, not from panic. It means you let the storm pass inside you, without letting it show on the outside. And guess what? That calmness, that peace, it's rare. It's not something women see every day. So when you show it, it stands out like a flame in the dark. She starts to remember. The way you didn't flinch. The way you didn't chase. The way you let her go without begging. And now, her mind isn't at peace anymore. because you are. You've flipped the script. You've made her wonder, wait, what kind of man can stay calm while I try to shake him? And that's the beginning of desire. Not from force, not from fear, but from emotional power. You didn't say a word, but your silence screamed, I'm a mountain. You can come close, or you can walk away, but I will not move. And that makes her feel more than any long paragraph ever could. Oh. When you're rare, she can't stop thinking about you. Let's play a little game. Imagine this. You walk into a room full of people. Everyone's loud. Everyone's trying to be seen. Everyone's chasing attention like it's candy. But then, in the corner, there's one guy. Quiet. Still. Focused. He's not begging for anyone to notice him. And yet, everyone can't stop looking at him. Why? Because he's rare. And in this world, rare means valuable. Now think about yourself. Have you been trying too hard? Texting too much? Explaining yourself? Proving yourself? Waiting by your phone like your life depends on it? If so, I've got news for you. You've been training her brain to see you as common. Not bad, not weak, just expected. And guess what people do with things that are expected? They take them for granted. But here's the wild truth no one told you. When you stop making yourself so available, when you start saying no, when you begin spending time on your goals, your gym, your mission, you stop being just another guy. You become a mystery. And women don't chase what's predictable. They chase what's uncertain. What they might lose. Think about it. What happens when your favorite show is suddenly gone for a few weeks? You miss it. You think about it. You wonder when it's coming back. You even rewatch old episodes because you want the feeling again. That's exactly how the female brain works when a man becomes scarce. Not because he's playing games. Not because he's doing some cheap tactic. But because he actually has a life that doesn't revolve around her. He's not ignoring her. He's just not available 24/7 because he's doing bigger things. And guess what happens next? The second you stop being so easy to reach, her curiosity turns into craving. She checks your page. She reads your messages twice. She starts to feel something she hasn't felt in a while. The fear of losing you. Now she's asking, why hasn't he reached out? Is he seeing someone else? Was I not enough? And those questions, they light a fire inside her brain. Because the truth is simple. What's always available feels boring. What's rare feels exciting, mysterious, special. So, when you step back, not out of anger, not to get her back, but because you're focused on your mission, you give her a gift most men never do. You give her the space to miss you. And that, my friend, is where the shift begins. She was never supposed to be your mission. Here's why that changes everything. Okay, pause everything for a second. Let's ask a hard question, one that hits deep. What were you doing with your life before she came into the picture? Really think about it. Were you building something? Were you waking up early, hitting the gym, reading, working hard? Did you feel excited about your goals, your dreams, your purpose? Or did everything slowly turn into her messages, her moods, her approval? Be honest with yourself, because this is the part where most men go wrong. They start with a mission. But the moment a beautiful woman shows up, boom, they drop the mission and she becomes the new one. But here's the truth, brother. That never works. Because deep down, even if she likes you, even if she's attracted to you, she doesn't want to be your whole world. She doesn't want to be the reason you wake up. She wants to join your mission, not become your mission. That's the difference between a man she respects and a man she walks away from. Now here's where it gets crazy. When you refocus on your purpose, when you go back to building your life, chasing your dreams, and doing what makes your heart beat faster, something powerful happens. She feels it. She doesn't need a text to know it. She doesn't need to see your calendar. She can feel it in your energy. You're no longer chasing. You're no longer waiting. You're becoming something. And that makes her want to come back into your world. Not because you begged, not because you tried to fix it, but because you're now the man who doesn't need her, but can choose her. There's a big difference between chasing a woman and inviting her into a life that's already full. When your life is rich with meaning, when your mind is clear, when your goals are exciting, when your time is limited because you're building something real, that's when she feels the shift. That's when the cold turns warm. Not because you said the perfect words, but because you became the man who doesn't revolve around her, and she respects that more than you'll ever know. The storm test, why she throws chaos just to see if you'll break. Let's talk about something most men miss. Ever had a woman go cold on you for no reason? One day she's sweet, warm, interested. Then, boom, silence. She doesn't text. She seems annoyed. She's distant, like you did something wrong. But you didn't. So what's going on? Why does it feel like she suddenly flipped a switch? Here's the uncomfortable truth. She's testing the weather of your soul. She's stirring up the storm to see if you can stay calm inside it. Not because she's mean, not because she wants drama, but because she's trying to feel your core strength. Women don't say this out loud, but deep down, they need to feel safe with a man. Not just physically, but emotionally. And the only way they can feel that is if you don't get tossed around by their moods. She wants to know, when I shake things up, will he still stand strong? Or will he chase, panic, over-explain, fall apart? See, most men fail this test. They get scared and start chasing. They text too much. They ask what's wrong. They try to fix it. But the men who pass, they do something totally different. They stay calm, still unmoved, not cold, not cruel, just steady. And that's what makes her rethink everything. She starts wondering, wait, why isn't he chasing? Why does he look so calm? Did he move on? Does he not need me? And that's when it flips. That's when the cold woman starts to warm up. Because she realizes you're not just another guy hoping to win her. You're not afraid to lose her. Because you're whole, with or without her. And guess what? That's the kind of man who gets chosen, again and again. Because while the world screams, panics, and chases, you become the eye of the storm. Calm, focused, powerful. The silence that screams, why saying nothing hits her the hardest. Let me ask you something wild. Have you ever heard silence so loud it shook your soul? That moment when someone doesn't respond, when they don't chase you, when they don't explain. They just go quiet, and suddenly you can't stop thinking about them. Crazy, right? That's because silence, my friend, is powerful. Now here's the part most men never understand. Silence from a strong man hits harder than any clever message. Why? Because it shows strength. It shows control. And most of all, it shows you're not afraid of being alone. See, when a woman pulls away, most guys panic. They send long texts. They try to explain. They say things like, "Did I do something wrong? Can we talk?" But here's what that screams to her. "I'm scared. I need you to choose me. Please give me attention." And the moment she feels that, the attraction drops. But silence? Oh no. Silence does the opposite. It makes her wonder. Wait, is he mad? Is he done with me? Has he moved on? Suddenly she starts chasing you. Not because you played games, but because your stillness says something louder than words. I am not desperate. I'm not here to beg. I know my worth. That kind of silence, it makes her heart race. It makes her second guess her distance. It pulls her mind back to you over and over. She checks her phone. She rereads your old messages. She starts imagining you with someone else. And then, like magic, that cold heart begins to thaw. Because women are emotional. They don't just react to what you say. They react even more to what you don't say. So the next time she goes cold, don't chase. Don't explain. Let your silence speak. Let her feel the void you leave behind. Because when a man can walk away without a single word, he becomes unforgettable. And when you're unforgettable, she'll come back on her own. The final flip. How to keep her wanting you without ever chasing her. Let me leave you with something that might shock you. It's not your looks. It's not your money. It's not even how nice or romantic you are. What makes a woman stay hooked? What keeps her eyes locked on you? What makes her feel that fire that never fades? It's the feeling that you don't need her, but you still choose her. That's the final flip. That's the second step of the two-step mind hack. See, in step 1, you created space. You stopped chasing. You focused on your life, your mission, your peace. But step 2, you show her that you still have a heart, but it's protected. She can feel your warmth. She knows you care. She sees the man in front of her is real, but also rare. Because unlike other men, you're not afraid to be alone. You don't need her to feel strong. You are your own mountain, solid, still, unshaken. And that is magnetic. When a woman feels that you're free, yet still present, not chasing, but still kind. She falls deeper. She starts investing. She starts trying. She starts wondering, how can I keep this man around? That's the secret. Be available but not owned. Be kind but not needy. Be present but not desperate. You don't have to play games. You don't have to act cold or fake. You just have to be the man who puts himself first. Not to hurt her, but to protect your peace. Women don't want to be your purpose. They want to feel lucky to be part of a man who already has one. So let her feel your absence when needed. Let her miss you without warning. Let your life be so full, so rich, so grounded, That being with you feels like a gift, not a duty. That's how cold turns warm. That's how doubt turns into craving. That's how silence turns into obsession. So now the choice is yours. Keep chasing or step back. Build your world and let her come to you. Because when you become the fire, you don't chase the moth. The moth finds you, and it never forgets how bright you burn. That's power. That's peace. That's what makes you a rare man. And that is how she melts.